We're back. We're back for another instant match point game. Welcome back, Gavin Wolpert. I'm Rob Barrington, and we're here to do the analysis of the summer 2024 instant match point game. How are you, Gavin? Welcome.
I'm doing awesome, and if they're already watching this, it means they just played this crazy set of
Congratulations
hands,
on getting
and
through these sets of boards.
it was as crazy for us doing the analysis as it was for you playing.
So let's tell you how we did this, folks. We had access to these boards for quite a while, and we've kept it quiet. I don't think anyone knows that we've had these, other than no spying on us for the next one. Okay, you can't get any of the information. But we took the hands, we looked at them ourselves, we came up with what auctions we went to, and then a couple of times, well, more than a couple of times, Gavin, we got to a hand and we said, I don't know what the heck I would do. And you said, neither do I. So we brought in some of our buddies here. And this is our Legends panel for the event. We have basically all of the members of the USA team that's going to represent us in this year's World Championships. And a couple other friends. And it's hard to have a Legends panel without Larry Cohen added to it. So we have a lot of friends that helped us answer the questions. And honestly, we gave them the questions, Gavin, and they said, I don't know what to do either, but here's what
Yeah,
I
they
think.
did. That was their number one feedback is, man, these were hard hands that you guys had. We kind of just, each of them said, I gave my best answer, but I could have gone either way on almost all of them.
And we just like to take this moment to say thank you to this panel for their generous time and answering our questions. And we have Marty Fleischer, Chip Martell. You have Kevin Bathurst, Johnny Hurd, Joe Grew, Brad Moss. That's the team that's going to the World Championships. And then we have, of course, the legend Larry Cohen, John Kraniak, and Vince DeMay. And these are the guys that helped us answer these tough questions. And we had a tough question right on board number one, buddy. This is the first hand we
Two of
saw.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So what a weird hand to start with. But why don't we jump in and see what the pros thought, but also what we suggested here.
So for board one, the suggested auction probably didn't happen at many tables because there were so many variables, and it's not clear whether this is the right path or the wrong path. And we had, like we said, we had two poll questions for this one. The polls weren't about first seed. Everybody would have opened three spades with that north hand. You've got three of the top five honors.
Yep. And
Nice
just to answer, if
distributional
you
hand.
didn't, that remember for next time, this is a very solid three spade opening bid. Very good suit, well shaped.
But unfortunately, this time you caught your partner with a pretty ridiculous hand.
Yeah.
We got to board one before we had our first insanely distributional hand.
And we were both like, man, why do they keep picking these sorts of hands for this event? It's crazy because this hand is nuts right out of the get go. Your partner preempts. And neither
So
one of us had the best idea of what to do here.
I just find that normally with these hands, when you have shortness in your partner's suit and your hand is not that great, that you're usually better off just cutting it off quickly, stopping low. But the issue, which was brought up by the people who we polled, was the problem with this hand and not bidding over three spades is that it looks kind of like they're going to bid hearts. And if they
Yeah.
bid hearts, if they do bid hearts, then we're really not going to want to sell out to four hearts. We've got very few losers. We've got only that heart loser and maybe three club losers on from our perspective, from South's perspective. So rather than letting them get in there with the hearts, a lot of our panel decided that let's just jump straight to five
And
clubs,
in
forget the
fact,
spades.
what we did for our panel here is we sat them in the south chair and we said, okay, guys. And we didn't have any ladies in our panel. That we have to correct that next time. But here we said, gentlemen, what will you do in this situation when it goes three spades, pass to you, or pass to you? And here was their choice, Gavin. And almost everybody, except for a couple players, Gavin, were just putting it into five clubs with this hand, which is interesting. And as you said, they all mentioned in this spot that my singleton heart is really a thing here, and none of them love this, but it's a situation.
There were some really interesting comments. So Joe Grew said that his first reaction was to pass, but then he realized if they bid four hearts, I'm going to want to bid something, so I want to get there right away.
Yep.
Where Brad Moss also bid five clubs, his partner, but he said, I don't expect five clubs to make, but I actually think that five clubs might score better than three spades, even if we buy it there. So that was another
2 levels
point
higher.
of view. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you see that they weren't all five club bidders.
Exactly. Vince and Kevin Bathurst decided to pass. And honestly, when we looked at this, we not only had issues with this hand, but now let's migrate over to the West chair there. So let's say we do pass as Kevin and Vince did in this situation, and now you're stuck with this West hand, and it goes 3 spades, pass to you. Well, you and I both were like, well, if we didn't know what to do the first time, this one's still not as clear as that, because this hand has a lot of issues as well. But here we go with the pros again, and we have some differing opinions here. Most of the guys are bidding 4 hearts with this hand. But a lot of the players two of the players are passing, and that's both Grew and Moss. And let me just show you the hand again. That's a tough spot, right? Non-vulnerable. What are you thinking here?
Well, the issue with this hand is that we only have 12 points, and partner, it's not the points that would stop me from bidding, but the fact that we have 4 spades is a strange thing. There's what it means is that partner has short spades and didn't act over 3 spades. And usually if partner's got a singleton spade and they have, an opening hand, they would bid something. They would make a takeout double, or they would overcall, or they would do something. So the fact that partner didn't bid over 3 spades means that it actually feels like more of the points are with South than with partner. So it's a little scary to act here with lengthened spades. And that was basically what Joe Grew said. He's like, I have so many spades, and partner would have acted. And so it with short spades aggressively.
Right. And Brad also passed in this hand. And then we just had a lot of 4-heart bidders as well. Most of the rest of the crew bid 4 hearts, and you can't blame them either. And it's kind of a primed out hand. You're expecting spade shortness, I suppose, in partner's hand. You're going to be surprised when your right-hand opponent's void in spades. But I guess you're not that surprised, I suppose, in an auction like this where it goes 3 spades, check to you.
So I'm guessing at most tables, at some way or another, they found their way to 5 clubs. Like I can't imagine that there's too many tables where both South and West had the discipline
to not bid,
to pass, to not bid with their nice and distributional hands.
It's a pretty good rule as the partner of the preemptor to kind of, not take action when they've preempted you and you don't have. But here, this is a strong exception when you have 12 cards and 2 suits, which is insane.
Lots of playing strength.
And just a real quick sidebar: when you see hands like this, we spent a lot of time on this because it's super interesting. But again, spending a ton of time studying 7-5 hands and how you do well is not going to be a lot of bang for your buck because they don't happen too often. So
it's definitely random, and as you can see, that not even the experts agree about it. So.
Exactly. So that's our peek into hand number 1, and let's continue with the excitement here, Gavin. And here is hand number 2, Gavin. Interesting. 1 no trump opening, and hard to resist a 2-heart overcall with the North cards. I guess some people might consider 3 hearts with the North hand as well, but they're vulnerable. Seems a little more judicious for 2, right?
I would actually like 3 hearts if we were not vulnerable. It's really hard to defend against a preempt when your partner opens 1 no trump. But when you're vulnerable against not, it's just you're asking to go minus 200 on a random part scoreboard. Exactly. That's what scares me about bidding 3 hearts with the North hand.
So let's talk about East and the importance of playing takeout doubles and not stolen bid. We both are railing against stolen bid for good reason. You need to be able to bid hands like this way more often than you're going to need a specific stolen bid, right?
Yeah, so stolen bid is kind of taught to intermediate players because it's really simple and easy, but in reality, it is not very effective at all. And so you have hands like this East hand where you don't have a specific thing that you want to transfer to, or you don't even have a good enough hand really to bid Stamen. But when you have 6 points and your partner's got it's got 15 to 17, it's a split deck. And so if the opponents are making 2 hearts, it's you really hate to just concede the contract and say, okay, you guys can play 2 hearts, fine. You have half the points. You found your nice fit. We're just going to let you play it here. And what we've learned over time is that it's not practical to play this way, that it's much more effective to play the negative double after 1 no trump so that you can compete, so that you have some bid to make with a hand like this.
You recover on both sides of the table where you can now compete where it's super important to, especially when you're playing match points, which is what this event is all based on, right? It's the instant match point game. However... Go. Sorry, buddy.
I was just going to say that this East hand isn't a typical takeout double in the sense that we don't have support for all the other 3 suits. But what's nice about this East hand is that if your partner bids the suit that you really don't want to hear of clubs,
Right.
is you can then just
the diamonds.
exactly.
Yeah,
And so this hand bids nice and cleanly. It gives you a shot at finding a spade fit. And if you don't have a spade fit, you get to try diamonds.
And just real quick here, folks, the reason this is available to us after we double is, notice if we had just a really good hand, we can make a forcing bid at the 3 level directly over 2 hearts, right? So in this situation, if we do go that route, partner should never think we have. It's not one of those power double situations. No, we've actually taken a weaker action first, so our maximum is about, you know, less than an invitational hand, or around that amount, right? Very cool. All right, let's take a look at this next hand, number 3. Number 3, another interesting hand, which we had a couple questions, or at least one question to our experts, but let's take a look at this one, Gavin. It starts with 3 passes, actually, rarely. And
but the question that we asked our experts actually fell in first chair, exactly. where South was in a perfect preempting seat, non-vulnerable against vulnerable in first chair. That's a seat that we normally really like to make aggressive preempts. Now, obviously, with the club suit, we don't have the same luxury of being able to open a weak 2 bid because 2 clubs is strong. But sometimes we are willing to open 3 clubs with only a 6 card suit. And first chair white against red is one seat where we're really looking to kind of step in there. Yeah. And the reason for that is there's 2 things about first seat white against red. The first thing is, when you're in first seat, you have 2 opponents and you have 1 partner. So the chances that you're going to be preempting your partner are a lot lower 33%. Than preempting the opponents, yeah. Right? And the other thing is that when the opponents are vulnerable, it's very hard for them. They have to decide whether to come in. The risk is high for them to bid over our 3 clubs, and if they do bid, then we have a potential plus hundreds per trick. But we asked the panel, would you open 3 clubs? And here we go. You'll see that quite overwhelmingly, not everybody. We had a lot of passers.
Yep,
we had a lot of passers.
Brad Moss, Kevin Bathurst are the 2 3 club bidders, and the rest didn't bid.
Either one could work.
Sure.
Either one could work. Right.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, it's a win in some spots, but it was surprising. I think the one situation, like queen empty third, is kind of ugly on this hand. That is a tiny downgrade when you look at it. But
well, that was one of the flaws. What Larry said, Larry Cohen said there's way too many reasons not to open 3 clubs. And what are those reasons that not that he gave us these quote of all the reasons, but I can see a couple very important reasons. We don't like having a first round control outside of our suit.
Yep.
We're willing to do it with the first round control outside of our suit, but we don't like it.
We don't like already. Maybe that's
having
2 points.
3-3 in the majors also means that if partner's got a 5 card major, that we might miss a nice major suit fit. Like partner might have some 7-5 hand, like on board 1, and
I mean, if you're playing in this event, odds are it's as we see. But very good stuff to see there, and I'm sure we saw some 3 club bidders in this game. I mean, did they bid it against you? Did you fly it out there? We have sympathy.
Not everybody played these boards in order, so some of the people have seen some of these next boards coming, and they might be on complete tilt.
Might have residual
like, I don't care.
Like, half of the day there. Yeah, very nice.
But so after passing, it goes 3 passes to a diamond on our right, and now we kind of have a second chance to act. So you might have seen some 2 or 3 club bidders now. It's very possible that people will be getting in there. We
feels
suggested
like 2 clubs is better, just because if you're going to get in there with 3 clubs, why didn't you just open 3 clubs? I guess you were trying to wait and see if partner opened a major in third seat, but here diamond 2 clubs and then a negative double. Notice again with this bid, in the first 3 hands we see 2 negative double situations, and this one is just not strong enough to bid a major at the 2 level, but it clearly has major suit want here.
Yeah, I would say it's closer than you'd think, just because we do have a void in the opponent's suit, and we have hand. So yeah, we're past hand. So we have 6. We're showing 10 by bidding 2 spades. The problem is we're not getting both suits in the game. If you bid 2 spades, partner might pass us in 2 spades. It's not forcing because we're a past hand. And they might have 4 hearts, and so we might completely.
A situation where if it goes like rebid of 2 diamonds, you can pick off one of these majors once again if you have the chance, possibly, and buy it at the 2 level.
Yeah.
So, but here North has a nice 3 club response to partner's overcall with 4 card support and a 10 count. Maybe some people might have opened the north hand in third chair also, by the way, on this hand if they're a little nutso.
If their partner wasn't tilting and they were tilting,
yeah, exactly. And then East, just, I mean, you can't blame him for bidding this diamond suit again.
You have to compete.
Right?
Your partner doesn't know we have such nice diamonds. Plus, you have, I mean, not that it's really 15 points because the King of Hearts is not really that useful, but still, your partner's got enough to make a negative double at the 2 level.
King of Hearts seems nice more useful in that situation. That partners made that action at least, at least less useless as it was before that.
Well,
but
plus, partners short in clubs. You have 3 clubs, and they've bid and raised clubs to the 3 level. So the chances are partners got a couple diamonds for us.
And there we go, folks. That's our suggestion on this hand. I'm sure we saw other things, but that's board 3. Oh, yeah, go.
But before we go, there was one thing about the play here. I don't know if we can click through the play.
Yeah, we definitely can.
The standard lead would be the Queen of Clubs.
Yep.
And this is just a really, really, we put this in the notes, but it's just such a fundamental concept that it's so common that every time you see the situation, you should just routinely do this by habit. Our clubs are ace third opposite a void. And it is so important, rather than winning our ace of clubs at trick 1, if we win the ace of clubs at trick 1, that leaves the club suit exposed.
Yep.
And so now when we start trying to draw trumps or doing anything on the hand, we've got these club losers that are kind of annoying. But when you have the ace and your dummy has a void, unless they're giving you some kind of free finesse into your hand that you need to take, it is so much better to trump on the board, because what happens when you trump that first trick is you maintain that ace of clubs. That ace of clubs is a nice stopper for later. We can see that we might be able to rough the club and dummy. We might be able to discard it on spades. Who knows what we're going to do at the club, but having the ace just gives us extra time.
Well, and what you make a great point, Gavin. Winning the ace right away would essentially turn a slow loser into a fast one, right? That you now have fast club losers, whereas when you maintain the ace, you slow down that entire process. And super good point. And also, you're not going to get over roughed. You saw a raise on this hand as well. So interesting stuff.
So look for that one. It's a common theme. It's actually a very common theme. Yeah.
Very nice. All right, let's hit board 4. So special service on board 4. You are sitting west, and first off, you opened a heart, or you should have with this hand. If you didn't, you're way too conservative. But if you opened a heart, it was very likely to go past 1 spade by your partner, 2 clubs by the south player. And the question here is, should you bid or should you not? I would guess a lot of players here, Gavin, just reflexively bid, but we kind of had an issue with that reflex, and we wanted to poll our pros also.
Yeah, something's changed with that 2 club overcall. It's now made us be in a free bid situation instead of a forced situation.
Yes.
Had they passed, we have to bid because 1 spade is unlimited. But once they bid 2 clubs, we can choose whether to act or not. And I think that whether or not you bid 2 diamonds, it's important that you acknowledge that bidding 2 diamonds now as a choice is slightly more natural. It's more, you're really saying, I want to bid 2 diamonds. You're not just bidding 2 diamonds because you have 4 diamonds. You're saying, I want to bid 2 diamonds. Now, you could argue that this hand really wants to bid 2 diamonds. You have such good diamonds that you've got king,
honestly,
queen, jack,
all of
4.
your values, almost every stitch of points are in your 2 suits for sure. So you can see that.
But normally you'd rather be 5-5 to make a free bid of the second suit or have extra values. One of those 2 things. So having a minimum, we thought this was a tough enough bid that we decided to pull the
legends,
the crew, and sure enough, we had a split crowd.
Yeah, in fact, more than half of our panel passed in this situation, which honestly, I was surprised. I thought we would have more 2 diamond bidders. You see, Marty and Martel partners bid 2 diamonds, so they have a similar style, as you can see in this situation, and so did Hurd.
And Johnny just doesn't like to pass.
Yeah, right. Well, you can't blame him. He's probably going to do pretty well whenever he bids. But in this situation, and we're going to reveal the full hand in a second, you see a lot of our really top players here just passing with this West hand when it gets back to them. And as we continue, Gavin, in fact, I'm going to show you all the hands now. If we bid 2 diamonds, which was our suggested action, and honestly, I think we feel like most of the field is probably just going to bid here because a lot of people don't recognize this situation has changed their spot. They don't have to bid as the opening bidder. We'll probably see 3 clubs in the North player's position pretty quickly, right, with this 4-card support. And then there's
It
the three
turns
diamond
out that
bid.
the 2 diamond bid really was effective on
It's
this hand
amazing.
because you bought that 6 card diamond fit. So everybody's watching at home is like, why would you pass?
Yeah.
It's so good to bid 2 diamonds, but partner doesn't always have a 6 card fit.
Well,
Often you're re-entering a hand,
and another
and
reason we bring
where
in our panelists, Gavin, sorry about that, is is that we have the luxury of seeing all the hands when we first take a look at this. So we want a little bit of a blind look at the hand as well, because we're influenced a little bit. Wow, 2 diamonds looks like it's going to be pretty good here. But again, we see if you do bid 2 diamonds, there's where you buy it. And sorry, Gavin, go back to you. I stepped on
no,
you there for a
that's
second.
good. The only other real key point to talk about here is the 1 spade response over 1 heart. And I bet a lot of tables didn't even bid that. They looked at their hand, they followed their rules that they're taught that you need 6 points to respond to your partner's opening bid. But we just want to kind of start spreading the word that you don't quite need 6 points to respond to your partner's opening bid. That
Yep.
if you really feel like bidding is going to improve the contract, you're better off responding than just leaving your partner in a 5-1 fit.
Yep.
And so in this hand, you really got rewarded because if it went a heart pass, I guess South would now probably bid 2 clubs anyway. But now West would definitely not get back involved.
Never. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
because
that diamond bid's
once
not
they know
happening.
their partner doesn't have 6 points and they have this kind of random 12 count, they're going to just pass, and the opponents are going to get to 3 clubs, or maybe even how does 3 no trump do on this hand? It's pretty close, right? You have
Interesting.
5 clubs,
8 tricks
a
right off the
diamond
top that
is
I can see
6,
spade finesses
and
on. So there's
3
9.
spades. You'd make
Yeah.
9 tricks north
Yeah.
south. So just if you don't respond, there's a
No
decent
problem.
chance the opponents might find their way there. It's not impossible that they'll find their way to game. But once you bid a spade,
Good point.
there's no chance they're getting to 3 no
Right,
trump.
exactly. Because now it just, especially if it gets 2 diamonds in there, because now you're just going to have that competitive auction and hope you're either buying it or not. So there we go, guys. There's board 4. Anything else you want to clip off here? Or shall we take a look at board 5?
Let's
All
go.
right, let's take a look. Action hand on board number 5 here, Gavin. Take a look at this one. North starts off with a normal pedestrian 1 no trump opener. Just make sure you're opening with your 14-point hands. This is a classic upgrade, but a lot of people are probably going to open a heart here, I guess.
I think we'll see a lot of hearts out there, but definitely we both believe pretty strongly in opening 1 no with 5-card majors and also upgrading 14 counts. And this kind of qualifies for both of those things.
I could
giving
sketch
ourselves
out probably a 500,000 15-point hands that are not clearly as strong as this one right here. So there we go.
So hands like this are actually pretty hard for us to do our analysis because we really have no idea what system that you're playing over 1 no.
Right.
Now, if South has the ability to show both minors quickly as a weak bid, then this hand kind of fits the bill. So if that's what you bid on this hand, you did the right thing. It just we in our system, in modern expert system, there's no really good way to show both minors weaks. So there are ways, but the simplest way for us to describe this hand was to use 2 no transferring to diamonds.
Yep.
And what
Pass
that did, yeah, exactly. If partner likes diamonds, you leave them in diamonds. If they don't like diamonds, you leave them in clubs.
And have a nice day.
I feel like I'm stealing from the opponents if we buy it in 3 of a minor. I know my partner opened 1 no, but
and you might steal it from the opponents, Gavin, if you don't act as the West player here. I mean, they might thieve you.
This is a really interesting spot. West's hand is a really, really interesting spot because you have a few ways to bid here. You have a little bit of flexibility when it's gone 1 no pass in the opponent's transfer, because you could either act immediately,
take a call,
or you could wait, let them finish the transfer, and then act the next time. And that gives you some flexibility to how strong are you? Do you really want to get into the auction, or are you just competing because they once you hear that they don't have a game? Because remember, when somebody makes a Jacoby transfer or 4-way transfer in this case, they might have a 0-point hand and where they're just retreating from 1 no, or they might have a hand that they're headed to game. So the way that West differentiates this is if you pass over their transfer and they finish the transfer and it goes pass, and now you act in that balancing seat. Now it kind of sounds like, hey, I'm only getting back involved now that I've heard that this person is not involved, like that they didn't try for game or go towards game. But as we've described in the suggested auction, here we've have West doubling immediately in over 2-0,
Because
showing
they
the same
wanna act.
takeout double,
Yeah.
but it's actually saying I've got a hand here, partner. I'm not just balancing. I really want to enter their auction. And what's nice about this one is it's kind of free. It's kind of free to make this. This is the only transfer that you can make a takeout double of, because the rest of them, they're all lead directing.
Right,
Like if
right.
they transfer to hearts and you double two
saying, "I
diamonds,
want a
it's
heart."
saying I've
Yeah,
got diamonds.
exactly.
Exactly. So this is the one time you can actually make a takeout double. So I wouldn't be surprised if people didn't even think about it when it came up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but it worked out to be a very important point, because now
It would
North
work
like diamonds.
amazingly for North loves diamonds with king third, but then East has a great hand, knowing
And
partner has short diamonds as well.
and they wanted to get involved.
Yeah,
That's the thing,
yeah,
is they
partner showed
wanted to
values.
act.
Right.
So they're not just balancing because they have short diamonds. They're saying, hey, partner, I've got support for the other three suits and I like my hand.
And this
And
four
so-
diamond bid is a nifty little way to say, look, we can play in one of those majors likely you pick, and we find our way to four spades. Do you think it's not super comfortable as a South player to bail out to any auction, but what the heck are you supposed to do with a 3 count?
Vulnerability
12
is
points,
just
and you're vulnerable.
ugly.
Exactly.
It's ugly. And you don't know if they're
You
making
might not let
it.
them play something, but vulnerable. Holy cow, that's
It's
ugly.
just too risky, and I don't think it will work out well bidding, because you do have to lose two clubs
Well, the
and a
diamond
heart
position
and a
is pretty
diamond.
gross too, yeah.
You've got 4 top losers. If they manage to lead a spade for you, you might be able to survive. Although the club break is really going to burn you.
Whatever
On this one, yeah.
It's just a crazy hand, especially if you're holding it. But you might have stolen on this one though. If
East West found their way, again, if East West found their way to game, they've done very, very well. They're going to lose the ace king of spades, and they're going to probably survive with only losing a heart. So
you could see
will.
If they don't double, maybe it goes 3 diamonds, pass, and now maybe it goes 3 spades, and we see some subsequent action. But here,
I still
it's
think
not
West
as good
is.
as if this happens initially.
It's better to double. I think it's better to double with the West hand, just because
but just predicting
you don't.
the action at the table out there, in the normal world.
Well, I just mean, even if you pass and it goes 3 diamonds, pass, I still think it's better to make it take a double with this hand.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yes, of course, Gavin. Sorry about that. Yeah. Of course.
Normally,
you would want to double even with this one. Yeah, but I'm saying they would act again and maybe find their spade fit this way from either side of the table, essentially.
They certainly won't find game. It's very hard to find game. Yeah.
Right. All right, let's take a look. I mean, another interesting hand for sure. But we are more than halfway through, or we're about halfway through now. Let's hop on to board 6. All right, here we go. One of the most solid preempts you're ever going to see in the East chair to start. 2 hearts. And then here we go. The North hand is probably going to be the first person to act here after that.
Yeah, South has a normal pass. West, with a singleton in their partner's suit, just leaves them there. And North makes a takeout double. Yep. Perfect takeout double. So now it's up to South to try to show their values. They've got a pretty good hand. A simple 2 spade bid doesn't do this hand justice. Partner forced us to come in and choose a suit. If you bid 2 spades, that could be a 0-point hand. So South has to do something to show values. The standard bid is to jump to 3 spades.
Absolutely.
But as we noted in the notes, that if you're playing Lebensal, then the standard way to play with Lebensal is that you have 2 different ways to bid 3 spades invitational. You can jump to 3 spades directly. The auction that we've showed is the suggested auction. If you're playing Lebensal, this would typically promise 5 spades. And with only 4 spades, you go 2-no, Lebensal, have your partner do something and bid 3 spades, and that would show 4 spades in an invite. And the only reason that's possible is because we could also just bid 2 spades with our weekend with spades.
Yep, very nice. A lot of people do play Lebensal, and if you don't over week 2s, it's not the worst thing to start doing. It helps out in a lot of situations like this there, where they've chewed up a little bit of bidding room and you're not sure how good partner's hand is as a responder. All right. We would guess most players or most pairs found a north-south fit in spades and played it there.
But important that they didn't get too high, because they do start by losing diamond rough.
That's pretty.
And then eventually they are going to lose a heart. So you can't quite make a
pitch
game
it anywhere. All right, let's take a look at number 7. And just like that, Gavin, you have a normal hand here or there, and now you just have an 8-card suit in the West player's hand. And this gets highly preemptive right away. 4 diamonds, 4 hearts looks, honestly, how do you resist 4 hearts with a
4 hearts? Ever? You're like,
thank you for making
I
it
live for
easy.
bids like this. Yeah, exactly.
And now East just has a crazy good hand for diamonds, and probably not too great for defense. Essentially, they probably, I can see, not getting any diamond tricks, and who knows. But are you thinking anything else but 5 diamonds here?
Yeah, no, partner vulnerable contracted for 10 tricks all by themselves.
Yeah.
That usually means they're good for about 8 tricks.
And you have 3
and we have 3
rippers.
of them. Yeah, exactly.
And shortness
So
and hearts, which is nice.
yeah, we might exactly get to score a heart rough in our hand. Yeah, it's definitely right to bid to 5 diamonds, and then what a punishment as North to have to sit there and make this decision.
Solid.
South has an easy pass, even with a heart fit. You're not going to bid to 5 over 5 with 1 point in your hand.
1 point, yeah.
And so then, but it comes back to North, and you're like, I really don't want to defend, but at the same time, you have such random values and a ton of losers.
King of spades.
So it's
probably getting a trump trick in their suit.
Yeah, so it's pretty important not to bid.
Yeah.
If you doubled as North and you went minus 750 on this
you learned
hand,
your lesson.
I mean, I don't think it was crazy. I don't think it was that bad.
It's
I mean,
random, but you get very unlucky with the ace of diamonds being behind you. But you never contract for more than 1 heart trick in this situation for sure.
No, it's just you have so many points that it feels like when you bid 4 hearts.
Badly. Would you double with the East hand after 5 hearts?
If they bid to 5, yeah. I think I would. I think I would.
Put that in the notes too. It's pretty close. All right. I mean, this was exciting no matter who played it or where you played it for sure. So I hope you did well, and if you didn't, better luck next time with one of these hands. All right,
we're the balanced hands already.
Yeah, right. We'll see them in a second. So this auction looks pretty straightforward, Gavin, except for maybe some South players might decide to bid. And if you did, I think in the notes we put good luck to you, sir.
Yes, I don't blame Souths. If you have a way to show like a 1-suited minor at the 2 level, like if you just play natural over 1-0,
play it at there.
I don't blame you for balancing with 2 diamonds, but man, did you get burned on this hand.
Do you know what's good, though? If you played 2 clubs as single suited, it would work out quite well because it would go 2 clubs float, right? North.
Yeah, right. Partner would know you have diamonds and say, you know what, let's just play clubs.
Play
yeah,
that's 6-1 or 6-0.
So yeah, there's definitely going to be some weird contracts on this one. In the way I play over 1-0, there's no really good way to bid this South hand, so I would just be forced to pass.
And you don't necessarily hate defending with hands that are this good. I mean,
no, especially when like no matter what partner leads, you've got kind of a supporting honor, so you feel decent about it. It's not the end of the world to defend.
And we think that the lead is likely to be a club, and it's going to get maybe a little uncomfortable on this hand. I know you wanted to talk about one thing here is the heart suit.
These hands are so difficult for what it's worth. Like anybody who struggles their way through, everybody struggles their way through these.
You should struggle your way through 1-0 trump. It's a tough contract.
And you kind of have to pick a suit to attack. So there was a way to I think take 6-7 tricks on this hand, but you really had to go after hearts, not diamonds. Obviously, as soon as you play diamonds, you're going to see the terrible news that North has none. But you're probably too late if you win this club and play a diamond. But the heart suit is an interesting suit. I just want to show you how you would play this heart suit.
Let's win. Let's just isolate hearts here and just play hearts from the East-West chairs. So
so if you're just talking about hearts, Ace 10-8 4th opposite Queen 3rd. There's actually a nice way to play the suit to get 2 finesses in, where you're going to take extra tricks as long as 1 of 2 honors is in the right place. So the way you would start is by playing the 5 of hearts towards the queen. This is finesse number 1.
Yeah,
and when you goes low, you try the queen.
Yep.
And anytime North had the king, you just won a finesse, right? And then we still have a secondary finesse position in the heart suit.
All right,
so
they win the king of hearts here in this situation, Gavin.
So now after the heart finesse loses, it's unfortunate, but we still have another finesse position in hearts where we can go to the dummy and lead towards our 10 of hearts. And that now we lost our first finesse when the queen lost to the king, but we're still going to get a second finesse in. So now after winning the club, you play a diamond towards the dummy.
Yep.
And on this hand, you see, oh my goodness, the diamonds were 5-0. I'm so glad I didn't start by playing diamonds.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you play a heart
situation, and now you got a finesse for that jack.
And you play the 10, and this time it works. But
I mean,
if you, as a declarer, attack diamonds and not hearts, I don't think you've done anything crazy. I just think it's just what works on this hand.
And
Normally,
honestly, you're looking at that 8 card suit. It's very hard not to attack that. I mean, you
yeah,
kind of wish you had the 9, I suppose. That would make it a little
it's a
easier.
big difference not having the 9. It makes the diamond suit a lot less likely to be fruitful.
Yeah,
But if you're attacking your diamonds because you had 8 of them and you only had 7 hearts, I think that's a pretty reasonable approach.
very good.
I don't think you've done anything crazy.
Very nice. 2 to go in this segment here. We have 2 boards left. Let's dive into them. Board 9 would show you as a success if you had an agreement with partner to just play weak jump shifts in competition, which I think is standard these days. I believe that's the standard agreement. Am I right, Gavin?
Yeah, it's the question is just how weak is it?
Right.
Is the thing that you need to talk about with your partner.
This is almost too good.
Well, when it goes a heart, a spade, here 2 clubs would show 10 or more points.
For sure.
So it's a good idea to play your weak jumps as like, I'm just not strong enough to make that 2 club bid. So I like to play this 3 club bid as more like 6 to 9 points, like a regular week 2, more like a regular week 2. And the reason that I like to play that way is very often on these hands, if you don't get your suit in today's day and age, our opponents are preempting us. They're jumping to 3 spades. They're making mixed raises. They're doing all sorts of things that by the time the auction gets back to us, we won't have had a chance to bid our club. So it's really important we get our 7-card suit in. Plus, it's so effective to preempt. It eats up their ability to support. Like, look what it does on this hand.
It would likely just buy this auction unless East wants to hop into these waters, vulnerable versus not. Again, we see the vulnerability being a real determining factor in at least one player's action here, because 3 clubs should just let this thing go. North is like, okay, I don't really want to be playing hearts at the 3 level, and North has a pretty good card for a 3 club bid, singleton ace. I mean, East just has a brutal spot there, right?
Just when your partner makes a weak bid and you don't have a fit for them, it's usually, if not always, it's nearly always better to play in partner's suit, because the clubs are going to be useless to you in hearts, and partner doesn't have much else. So
exactly, partner's a bad hand with just this suit. East is going to hate their life here, but
yeah, some East might have thought about making a power double over a heart. You have 17 points, which is kind of the upper end of a 1-level overcall. I mean,
some East might make a sketchy 1-no bid with King Doubleton, which is kind of a lot there, especially when you have a 5-card spade suit. Right? Yeah, it seems just super weird.
And it would show the points. Yeah, but exactly. I don't like it. I don't like it either because they're gonna lead hearts.
Yeah, they're gonna lead their partners down 2 in 1-no trump, where you're just making a part score in spades or somewhere else. So
that as a general rule of thumb to the power doublers, 5-3-3-2 hands have a ton of losers.
Yes.
So upgrading your 17 counts to a power double, you really need partner to have like a decent hand for you to make a game. Your partner has only 6 or 7 points. When you have 17 and a 5-3-3-2, you're probably not making game. It's only when partner has more like 8 to 10 points, in which case over a spade, they're probably going to find a bid. So yeah, I definitely much prefer a 1 spade overcall. If you did double, and if they were also playing 3 clubs this week, although I think fewer people play 3 clubs week after the double, but maybe not. I would still play it as weak.
Yeah,
when it goes a hard double 3 clubs.
Yeah, unless you have, but I mean, I don't like to play any conventional stuff there. I think this is way more useful.
If they did bid 3 clubs, now it comes pass back to East, and you're like, I haven't even showed my spades yet.
I know.
What am I? So you kind of would feel like you have to bid. It's just much better to overcall your spade.
For sure. And that's all she wrote for board number 9. We have 1 more to go. Last chance to excel, and we had a question on this next one as well. Let's get to it. All right, let's get in the hot seat again, Gavin. We sat our pros or our legends in the South chair for this question as well, and we thought we would take a preview of it here. Everybody vulnerable on board 10, and East opens the bidding 1 spade. We wanted to know what your pleasure was on this hand, and this is a tough one.
I'm definitely a passer with this hand, but I was not surprised with the responses that we saw from our panel, that it was a little bit all over the place. We had a few people Michaelsing, a few people passing, Vinny overcalling 2 hearts.
And
I'm not a 2-heart bidder. The scary thing to me, 2 heart shows an opening hand. So the only way you could ever really overcall 2 hearts is if you're playing with a partner that's got like completely aware that you're willing to bid 2 hearts on a hand like this.
Sure.
Because I would normally take my partner for like 13 or 14 points when they bid 2 hearts, but Vinny and Cran, they overcall whatever they got. So
And the reason I have Cran with 2 actions here is he made the distinction in there. He said about 30% of the time I would Michaels and 70% of the time I would pass, which I thought was, a good poker player's answer to this question. Range of actions in different spots, I suppose. But I was surprised, that this many of our legends were acting at these colors. But it is kind of a nice pure hand over a spade. But still, it's only 7 with not much else. Nice intermediates, I suppose.
Yeah, and so if you want to bring up the rest of the hands, it turned out that it's kind of a 4 spades, 5 hearts kind of situation where North has a really hard hand, because if partner does Michaels, then you have 5 card support on the one hand, but then you have ace 10 9 8 fifth of spades. So you have this tough decision of whether you want to defend or not. But I would tend to look at my spades. This is how it would go without the Michaels for sure.
Yeah, if you just felt the Michaels.
But without the Michaels, obviously North doesn't have any decision. I mean, they could consider doubling, although just as a rule of thumb, when your opponents are in a game forcing auction and they could have like 28 points between them, doubling just because of the 5-0 trump break is a little bit dangerous.
Yeah.
Now on the other side of that, when you're playing against experts and they don't do any investigating of slam, you can kind of take it down their expected value of what they have. They're probably closer to that 25, 26 point range, in which case they're for sure going down with you having 3 trump tricks like you have. So it's close. Do you have 3 trump tricks?
Just 2 guaranteed, maybe, right? Ace 10 9 8 fifth.
Is that 2? We're gonna win the queen with the ace, and then the jack is gonna take your 4. You've got 3 trump tricks. So you would have done well to double on this hand, except the heart gets roughed. When the heart gets roughed, you're like, we have no 4th trick.
Yeah.
So it turns out they do make it, but only because the hearts were 3-0.
Yeah, interesting hand, and honestly, you would have a hyper competitive auction on some sort of Michaels bid, but if not, you're just going to have this pedestrian auction. Look at West. That's one of the worst game forcing hands you could have, really. A 4-3-3 hand with all the queens in the deck, Gavin. Still though, that's 13 plus.
Yeah, you got 13 points. You got to do it. Yeah,
and it makes perfect. All right, so that's hands 1 through 10, folks. We'll be back 2 more times with 20 more boards to go. Thanks for joining. We hope you played these as well as we've analyzed them while seeing all 52 cards. So thanks a lot, folks, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.